guys, and welcome back to my channel. This video I thought that I would film something that I haven't filmed before on my channel but that I have been wanting to film for a while, and that is just simply a video talking all about my piercings that I have. I love watching these videos on YouTube because it kind of gives me ideas on piercings that I can get. Thought that I would just share with you guys the piercings that I do have, what age I got everything pierced at, how I kind of like cared for everything, and I just want to show you guys a product at the very end as well that I would recommend for you guys. Obviously I am not a professional, so don't take my word as like solid it will work or it will do this or it will do that, but I'm just going off my experience. Little disclaimer, if you guys don't like piercings or you don't agree with them, please don't bother watching this video just to comment hate, because people want to get piercings and they can. It's the same with tattoos. Like if someone wants to get a tattoo, they can get a tattoo. If someone doesn't want to get a tattoo, they don't have to get a tattoo. Like, it's all about personal preference. Your opinion will not be the same as other people's, so let's just get that out there and clear the air before I get started. If you're gonna get something pierced, please don't do it yourself or go to someone shady. Please go to a trusted, registered place. If you're gonna get a piercing, obviously, like, it's opening up a wound, it's a hole, so you just want to look after yourself and look after your body. If it means you have to pay money, it means you have to pay money, and you're gonna have your body for the rest of your life, so you want to make sure that you're looking after it. If you guys want to see what piercings I do have, then just keep watching. I've done close-ups of all of these, so I'll kind of just insert those in as I go. Yes, I'm just going to start in order of what I got first and then up to my last, because that's probably the easiest way to do it. The first piercing that I got was when I was 10, so I was not allowed to get my ears pierced until I was 10. I don't know why, it was just the rule that my mum had. When I was 10, I got my first earlobe piercings. It's just these ones here. So at the moment I have got 2 roses in them. So these I just actually picked up from just like a market. I got them pierced at a pharmacy. I would not recommend getting piercings at a pharmacy. I would rather go to an actual piercing place. My dad came with me. I got my right earlobe pierced first with a gun. They did them one at a time, which in hindsight I wish they'd done them both at the same time. People always say, don't get piercings with a gun. These earlobes are alright to get pierced with a gun because there's actually no cartilage in them, and it's just when you start dealing with cartilage that you want to go for a needle. It hurt. I was 10, I had not experienced a pain like this, that I had chosen to obviously have a pain like this, so I was shocked at how much it hurt. In hindsight now, I'm like, it didn't hurt, so probably like 4, but in my mind when I was 10, this was like a 9.5. Like, this really hurt. I was in there for a good half an hour, like, did I just get the one? Like, I feel like I need 2, but I really don't want to have to go through it again. I was crying. I was such a wimp. This is actually really embarrassing. For the second one, they pretty much just had to pierce me when I was distracted. Same with the gun, and this one is slightly crooked because when they pierced it, obviously like, I got a shock that went like that. Not that you'd probably be able to tell, but I mean, I know it's slightly crooked, but I also know it's my own fault. So, and after that I got home and I was like, yeah, I got my ears pierced, like, woo, like I've made it. And I got them pierced with a gold stud that like had a green emerald on it because it was like my birthstones. And I actually had a lot of trouble with my lobe piercings trying to heal. I had my mum clean them, like the front and the back, because obviously you want to make sure that you're cleaning your ears properly. They gave us this like tea tree solution to use, and I found it didn't really work. My ears would play up all the time. They would get what mum called boils, which is like where just all this gross stuff just comes out, and like all like the blood, and it was just not fun enough. It eventually did clear up, and I think they did end up healing within 8 weeks. But normally with like lobe piercings it's like 6 to 8 weeks they heal in. It must have just been like my body just realizing that something was different and trying to like kind of like counteract it or something, and then when it wasn't going away just realized, oh yeah, let's just kind of like deal with it. And I was changing the earrings because I realized it was half of it was the earrings because they were like really shit quality. Also, I forgot to say, I'm not sure how much my lobe piercings cost because my parents paid for them. My second lobe piercings, I really wanted them done, but mum would not let me get any more piercings. I really wanted my belly button pierced, and I was 18. So if you guys don't know, when you turn 18 here in New Zealand, you become a legal adult. so you can do things without parental consent. I was still living at home at the time, and I remember I was working in the hair salon, and one of my workmates came back from her lunch break and said like she was feeling a little bit sick and a little bit faint, but that's because she got like both her seconds and her thirds and a cartilage piercing done all at once on one lunchtime. And then she's like, oh yeah, having like a $20 piercing month, because it was in February, so like normally at the beginning of the year they have like all of their piercings for like $20. And then like a week later I was like, oh, I should go and get my seconds done. And because my workmate got like her seconds and her thirds, I'm like, I kind of want my thirds too. And then I was like, oh, she got a cartilage piercing, like I kind of want a cartilage piercing. So I went into the piercing place about a week later, lunchtime, so it was still February. And I said to the lady working there, oh, have you got time for me to get my seconds, my thirds and a cartilage piercing? He was like, okay, like do you know like what cartilage piercing you want? So cartilage, if you don't know, is like anything that's not on the lobes, so it's like all around up here, like all inside, and I'm not really too sure which one I want, I just want something. And then she's like, well, do you want to have a look at my ears? So her ears were like obviously like full of piercings, because I mean people at the piercing place always have ears full, and she had this one up here. So it's like halfway between where your lobes are and your cartilages. It's quite a unique one, like not a lot of people get it. I'll get that, and I'll get my seconds and my thirds on both ears. And she's like, alright, like lobes, $10 for both of my seconds, $10 for both my thirds, and $20 for my cartilage piercing. The lady said, okay, which one do you want me to do first? So I said, which one is going to hurt the most? And she said, probably the cartilage piercing. We did my cartilage piercing, so it was obviously with a needle. So I was freaked out because I don't know if you guys know this about me or not, but I am highly terrified of needles. Like very terrified, to the point where I know I need to go for a blood test, but I won't go for one because I am terrified at the thought of needles. And I also hate blood, so it's like, nah. It's probably hurt like 7. It hurt quite a bit. She did both of my second lobes with a gun. By then I was like, okay, like I'm starting to feel a little bit like, oh, like just hurry up and get it over with. And then she did my thirds on both ears with a gun, and by the, I can't remember which way round she did it. Because it was a late night, I had to go back and work probably like another 4 or 5 hours, and I was like, holy crap, like I feel a little bit faint. If you're new to piercings, I would highly recommend not doing that, but I thought if my workmate can do it, so can I. So healing for my seconds and my thirds was quite easy. My seconds healed probably within about 8 weeks. I think my thirds probably took about 10 to 12 weeks, and they still play up on occasion, but most of the time they're alright now. But cleaning them twice a day, morning and night, so just with a little like Q-tip and just going around the piercing and then around the back as well. Now, this cartilage piercing I had a lot of trouble with. Cartilage piercings from memory take about 6 months to 2 years to heal. This one probably took me like a good year to probably heal. I kept getting like those little growths on the back of it. I find with cartilage piercings with myself, normally they get worse and then they get better. Like they kind of go to like a certain point where you think this is it, like point of no return, then they like bring themselves back up. Now it's spilled and I can push it in and out and it doesn't hurt. This is still the jewellery that I got it pierced with, just because I couldn't be bothered changing it really, because I like the way that it looks. The next piercing that I got was probably maybe a week or 2 after that. So again, the piercings were still $20. I really wanted to get my belly button pierced. Another friend who I was talking to about it, I'm like, oh, did it hurt? And she said it really hurt for her. I was really scared to get mine pierced. It has also been the piercing that I have wanted since I was probably about 8 years old. And piercing place again. I think it was the same piercer that got my belly button pierced. This is my belly button piercing here. So the jewellery I've got in it is not actually the one I got it pierced with. So the one that I got it pierced with kind of just has like a silver ball here and a silver ball in here. This one I bought from Pasco's, and it's just got a little heart. It's like a little diamante, which you'll be able to see in the closer up shot. This one for me is my all-time favourite piercing. This one for me was the least painful piercing I have, including my lobes. My belly button for me probably hurt like maybe like 3 out of 10. So all of my stuff I'm doing out of 10, not out of 9.5. It was quite a thick needle. I actually realized, like, if you feel where your belly button is, there is like not a, like there's a tiny bit of skin, but it's not like a lot of skin, so it's not a lot they have to pierce through. The way they do it is they kind of like draw on the dots as they do with any other piercing, and then they clamp it and then they shove the needle through. I did wear like 2 plasters crossed over it for 2 weeks, which is what the instructions recommend that you do to look after it, making sure you're cleaning it. So this one I did clean with the salt solution. I had one hiccup where it like started bleeding and I thought like, crap, this is going downhill, but that cleared up after a night and my belly button healed within 8 months, which normally belly buttons are like 6 months to about 2 years as well. I also have a rule that I get all of my piercings during the autumn or the winter time. That way, like, I'm not going to go out and get it infected at like the beach or the pools or something. I changed it probably after maybe like a good year and a half. I think it was a couple weeks later I really wanted my tragus. So your tragus is like that thick part of skin that kind of attached to your face. In there, the piercings were still $20. When the needle went through this, holy crap, it hurt so bad. This is to date the most painful piercing I have ever gotten. People are very like hit and miss with this hurt, this didn't. This to me was a 9.5 out of 10. I got to the point where I almost passed out. Like, I actually got the piercing done and she like put the ring through it, so I've got a ring in it at the moment and it's what I got it pierced with. I prefer getting it done with the ring because it's less likely to fall out into your ear. The lady was like trying to explain to me aftercare and just got to the point where like everything was starting to go blurry, like her voice was starting to fade. I just sat down on the couch and so they got me a glass of water and they got me a lollipop to get my sugars back up. I think it is one of my favorite piercings to date. Healing of it was so difficult. Like, it's only just starting to come right now after like 2.5 years. I had a growth on it for the longest time. Like, there's still a little bit of a growth there, but it's not as bad as it was. I've just put that down. It is such a hard piercing to clean because obviously like you've got to try and get in the back. I also refused to take it out because I almost fainted and it was the most painful piercing I've ever gotten, so I'm not going to try and get it re-pierced. Like, no matter how long it takes, this is going to heal. Like, I'm going to force myself to make it heal. Next up was my nose. I got my nose in October of 2017. It was a couple of weeks before the AMP show, so I vlogged the AMP show, so I'll link that video down below. I think my nose was either $20 or $40. My friend is actually currently like a qualified piercer, but at that time she was learning how to pierce. So I've known her, I was year 11, so since 2016. So obviously like I know her quite well, so I trust her. I know that like that she'd do a good job and that she was going to have supervision and all of that. She could only pierce with a gun. She wasn't allowed to pierce with needle piercings. With a stud, nose probably hurt maybe like a 5. Obviously because there's a lot of like nerves in your nose. When my nose is pierced on my left side, my right eye was like streaming with tears and my left eye was just like nothing. I had to leave in for 2 weeks. So then after 2 weeks I went back and got it changed to a ring. So basically they just pull the stud out and then they put the ring in. I had a little bit of trouble putting the ring in, but that's because obviously like she was new. She had someone watching her and they were kind of like guiding her on how to do it. So I actually got it changed to a rose gold ring. So the one that I've currently got in at the moment is silver. So I had a lot of compliments on my nose. A lot of people have actually said to me, oh, you really suit your nose piercing. Maybe about 7-8 months later I got it changed to this silver ring here because I was wearing a lot more silver jewelry. I did actually have a lot of problems with my nose trying to heal. A lot of the time my nose would like flare up and then go down and then be all congested in the inside and then go down, and I put that down to just the fact that I was having to wear makeup every single day. Like, I had to wear makeup the day after I got it done, but I kind of like didn't put anything around the area just to kind of let it breathe. It was when I stopped wearing makeup for a good while it kind of like settled down, and now that I like don't wear makeup every day to go to my job, like my nose is great. Like, I have not had a problem with my nose in so long. Probably took maybe like a year to properly heal. The last piercing that I have got, and the most recent piercing I have got, is at the top of my left ear. So my tragus and my cartilage are both on my right ear, and my cartilage up here on my left ear is the only cartilage piercing I have. So I got this one pierced up the top, and I actually do want to get another one pierced straight under it. I got this pierced at Specific Pierce, which was my friend's company that she opened up, so it's the same one that pierced my nose. And this piercing, I got this cartilage piercing pierced with a needle, so like obviously my friend was fully qualified at that point so she could pierce with a needle. Again, this probably hurt just a tiny bit more than this cartilage piercing, so this one probably hurt like an 8. The feeling of it was a little bit easier than my other cartilage. Like it still played up a little bit because obviously like being up the top, like your hair gets caught in it. I think it's probably taken like 6 months to heal, because I think my body's just used to getting piercings now. If you're getting your ears pierced, don't sleep on the side that you got the piercing on, because otherwise it's gonna irritate it and it's gonna hurt. I'd also recommend changing your pillowcases when you get your ears pierced. That way you know that it's clean, so even if you do roll over in the night, like the bacteria from the pillowcase isn't gonna go in your ear. If you can, try and wear your hair up. Getting any piercings on your face, try not to wear makeup for like a good probably like 2 weeks. That way you can make sure that the hair piercing has a chance to breathe. Making sure you're cleaning it twice a day, sometimes even 3 if you feel like you need to. Try not to touch them, because obviously bacteria on your hands is going to get in your ears or your belly button or your nose, or those are kind of like my tips, I guess. So that's kind of my experience with piercing. So a lot of the time they have been like a very like time consuming process. I find that the stuff that they give you doesn't work as well as the product that I'm going to talk about in a couple of minutes. I reckon the salt solution that they tell you to make is better than the tea tree stuff that they give to you, which is highly diluted. So also with the salt solution, make sure the water is boiling hot, because obviously if it's boiling hot it's going to kill the germs. The product that I wanted to talk to you guys about is this. So this is the Tea Tree Water Toner Water by Lush. This is actually a facial toner, but I find that it works really well for cleaning piercings. I've used this recently and I just find that this stuff helps to heal your piercing so much faster than the stuff that the piercing place gives you. It comes to the aid of skin that has emergencies. Tea tree is a wonder antibacterial, antiseptic and antimicrobial ingredient. Obviously like if you've got a piercing, like it's an open wound, like it's going to get bacteria, so this stuff I find works wonders. It doesn't sting. You can buy this online or in store from Lush. This is vegan, this is cruelty free. In here you get 250 grams. So there we go guys, that is everything I think I wanted to cover in this video. And I am not a professional, so don't take my word as like solid. If in doubt, if you are curious or if you do have any worries or queries, or if something doesn't quite look right with the piercing that you do have, make sure you do go to either your GP or your piercing place. If you do want to have anything done, then by all means go for it. Like I said, I do want to go and get another one under here. I kind of want to get my top cartilage on this ear, maybe something inside this ear, same within this ear. The only other piercing I am considering getting that is the bottom part of my belly button. I'm not sure if there's quite enough room in my belly button for that. If I do get any more, then I will, if you guys do enjoy this video, then I will make an update. So if you guys liked this video, then make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and make sure you turn on the post notifications. Please check out my social media, they're all listed in the description box below. Give me a follow on those, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye! It was a coat hanger that I just tripped on, for those of you that were wondering. Lobe pierce. My first lobed piercings. Really, my battery wants to die. Ugh! This is just not happening today. Not at all. My stomach is growling at me because I've not had lunch and it's like almost 1:45.